Yes, I signed the waiver.
Okay, thank you.
I signed the waiver. You guys need to sign the waiver.
You cannot sue.
What's up, my Wheel Life fam? It's your man ThaBlackCobra, and today I'm on the Sherman-S.
Oh.
Great big shouts out to Free Motion Shop for providing this Sherman-S for testing and demo purposes.
Oh, we need pads on the side of this puppy. You can't do it without pads. It doesn't go. Wow, the Sherman-S, baby.
Well, first of all, you have to forgive me. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. I can't quite get rid of this cough. But I did want to tell you, I want to bring the big guy's real first impressions on the Sherman-S. Let me tell you, first of all, I did not like this wheel. I'm going to say that again. I got on the Sherman-S and I did not like it at first. You could see me here bouncing, and the suspension automatically I did like, but the rest of the wheel I did not. I didn't like the weight. I didn't like the balance. I felt like it's a little top heavy, so the balancing is off. I did not like it, and I honestly was not thinking I was really gonna get back on it after this first initial ride. At the end here, I was telling them that we have to put pads on this wheel. Riding the Sherman-S naked with no pads on the side was a dangerous thing to do. I could tell this by the fact that at least 4 to 5 people dropped it. That's at my last count. All because there were no pads on the side of it, and this wheel is way too heavy to be wielding around without more control over it.
All right, now we got the Sherman-S with pads on it. Definitely a lot better with pads. Now it feels like something I can ride. Before, I felt like I couldn't ride it.
I'm not kidding you when I tell you I felt like the Sherman-S was completely unrideable without pads. Hey, maybe it's just me being overly cautious, but when a wheel that heavy cannot be stopped because there's no way to pull back in time, I don't think I feel safe at all. After getting off of it the first time, I really didn't think I was going to get back on it. Then we put pads on the side of the wheel, and all of a sudden, the game was changed. Now this veteran Sherman-S, this behemoth of a wheel, is a 100 volt wheel, 3600 watt hours, plenty of battery pack. It's got a 3000 watt motor and a 20-inch tire. Now the only thing I really ultimately never really got over, I guess, was the top speed is probably around 48 miles an hour. That to me is too slow for a top tier, top priced wheel. Now that being said, I'm gonna tell you right up front, I came into this already with kind of a little bit of an opinion. I wasn't or didn't think I would be sold on the Sherman-S and the suspension type, but let me tell you, as you can see right here, I am bouncing and jumping and trying my best to use all 235 pounds to bottom out this suspension. The key to this wheel for me is the fact that the suspension felt endless. I know that it was obviously not endless because it obviously does have a bottom, but I did my best. I was putting all my weight on it and bouncing, and I started going over different obstacles, and I could not bottom out this suspension. So even though initially I was not sold on this type of suspension, I believe the partnership that was struck for this wheel between the suspension company and the EUC company was gold. I think that they have put together the premier suspension right now. I previously was of a different mindset because I thought the Master and that whole line had the best idea for suspension. After riding on this suspension and feeling just how well it did under all of my weight, I stand corrected. Here I was hanging with my man Marty Backey, and we got the brilliant idea of taking the Sherman-S out onto the track. Yes, that's right, the wheel that I had previously hated just a few minutes ago, now with some pads on the side of it, now with me having an opportunity to ride it around and go over some jumps and bumps and really feel how it feels, I was confident enough that I could take it out on the track and have a little fun.
Come on,
Now, I started out pretty slow and mellow because I wanted to give Marty an opportunity to grab some good footage on the Sherman-S. However, I just found myself getting carried away, and by the time we ended this, even though I wasn't going very fast, I ended up lapping Marty by the end of our little tour here. What you'll notice is I'm trying to get a feel for the corners. You see the wobbles that I'm experiencing right there? That's that weight I was telling you about. This wheel being about 100 pounds, you have to make some adjustments into the corners. Now that's no different than any other wheel, it's just that I hadn't ridden this wheel on a track before. More wobbles set in as I made more corners, but I took my time, really slowed down, and simply tried to negotiate these corners and get a feel for this heavy wheel and how smooth it was on this track. Now, this was a very interesting segment of the track. Here up behind me come a few of the racers that were practicing and learning the track itself and how they felt on it. They were feeling each other out, and things got a little interesting, as you'll be able to see here as they come by me.
Yeah. Woo, my heart. Yo, scared the shit out of me. I know you guys are videotaping.
Now, I don't know if you can tell just how really close that was, but it was almost a disaster. And being right behind them, my heart truly dropped. I wasn't acting, I was really scared. I really thought there was gonna be wheels tumbling and flying at me any moment. I'm just glad that that was not the case, and this turned out a lot better than it could have. And I really am glad that both of them had positive vibes after the whole thing with no animosity towards each other. Well, there's no need for the suspense. You could tell when I first got on this wheel, I absolutely hated it. You could tell that initially my thoughts were not going to be positive towards this wheel at all. But once we slapped those pads on the side of this wheel, once I really was able to squeeze out of this wheel what it really can do, I felt like I was riding a tank that had comfort built right in. I feel like this wheel will help me to bounce over anything I need to, but bound right through anything I need to. I think this wheel is going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the world of EUC. This wheel, the Sherman-S, definitely threw me for a loop, and I'm just glad that it's on its way to me soon for more testing purposes. Stay tuned and come back for the big guy's full review.